it's this gift that we've been given. It made a 10 to a 200. It was just amazing. Everything was just perfect. I felt like Superman. I wouldn't want to live any other way. If I could just tear out a little chunk and pass it to you so you can feel this, I don't think anybody would ever want to go back. So a successful life to me, a life good lived is
Hey everyone, welcome to the Jamie Love Show. Today I have a very special guest. His name is Sevada. We met at my raw food meetup here in Los Angeles, and he's going to be sharing a little bit about his raw vegan journey and his coaching and his spiritual path. So I'm so excited to have him on the channel today, and welcome.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
I'm so excited to have you. Yeah. So, well, first of all, what brought you to the meetup group? How did you find us?
As my life changed, I was in, let's call it, desperate need for new circles to find myself in. So my search began, and the meetup was one of the things I found on my search. I mean, Google, you type stuff in, it's like, bam, here it is. I'm like, okay, let's go.
That's awesome. Yeah. And I mean, it was really cool meeting Ted Carr at the last one, right?
Absolutely. I had no idea who he was before that. So I just...
Oh, you didn't?
I just
okay.
met a man, and then I researched him afterwards.
Oh, that's great. That's great. So how did your journey start with raw foods? How did you get into the whole thing? What inspired your path?
That's a very complex question, as my journey with food began probably about 15 years ago, and it's been a roller coaster ride. But the journey with raw food really started early last summer of 23. I was doing this full year of trying everything on. Due to the coaching business that I do and the people I work with, I really wanted to get to a mode where, well, if you're talking with them about it, and not everybody does what you do, then you should really have some body experience, some experience in what you're talking about. And diet is a big thing about mental health and having a good life and everything. So I started with carnivore, then I went to keto, then I tried Atkins, I tried high fat, I tried low fat, I tried all kind of combinations, and all of them didn't really sit well. And eventually I came across this thing called 80-10-10 raw vegan. And I'm like, oh, that sounds interesting. Let me read that book real quick. Okay, got it. Cool. And then I tried it. And I kind of liked it because I love to eat. And I could just eat so much all the time. I'm like, this is like heaven. And then I started waking up in the mornings and I'm like, this feels really good. I like how I feel inside. And then I kind of stuck with it because I liked it.
I love that. I love that. So you had more energy, and what other benefits did you see? Like what, like how is your...
You see, on that question, I have to backtrack that question a little bit because, so that was the summer benefit I saw. In the summer, I went off of Doug's book and I expanded that a little bit. I went totally like science nerd on it. And I went into the nutrition breakdown. I really figured out how many calories does my body need? What is the nutrition breakdown? I went into the recommended RDA things about what kind of vitamins and minerals and this and that. And I started putting everything together. And that really worked for my body. And I felt fantastic. My mind felt so at ease. I woke up in the morning at 4:30 in the morning without needing an alarm clock. I felt like immediately up from the bed and felt super energized. I had power all day long. I was doing these extreme workouts, and my recovery was extremely fast, mentally, spiritually, physically. Everything was just perfect. I felt like Superman. And then the summer was over and everything changed. And this is where I'm learning in my journey. It's my first year of my journey, right? So I have to go through the seasons just like with anything in life. And in the winter, I completely crashed. And it felt horrible because I didn't know what my body needed in the winter. I tried to feed it like I did in the summer, and that did not work at all. And yeah, that wasn't pretty.
What did you find?
I found... Well, see, that's the thing I can't fully answer yet. I'm going to need a little bit more experimentation once the next winter comes, because I'm not clear about the winter yet. What I really found is my summer diet does not work in the winter.
So you ate more 80-10-10 low fat in the summer.
Yes. So in the summer, I ate, it was almost 80-10-10. It was probably more like 85, 7.5 kind of thing. Staying really low fat. Most of my food was fruit. And I do a smoothie once a day, which is my salad. I was bored on the salad because the amount of greens and salad I have to eat every day, I just didn't feel like chopping it up and eating the salad bowl would take like an hour itself. So I'm like, no. So that goes all in a smoothie. So I have like spinach and celery and paprika, bell peppers, and mixed with blueberries and I put some maca root in there, some turmeric and ginger. That's like my salad in the afternoon. And the rest of the day is just fruit. In the mornings, I did melons, depending on what's on sale, either watermelon, honeydew, or whatever, cantaloupe. And in the evening, either bananas or oranges. Or, again, I shop whatever's on sale. So whatever was on sale, I just eat fruit.
Oh, yeah.
And that didn't work in the winter because I started eating melons and I get cold. So as soon as I would eat the melon, my body would start shivering. And I'm like, oh, that's not good. So, and then I started research into the Chinese medicine has that, Persian medicine has that as well, where there's foods that have a cooling effect on the body, foods that have a warming effect on the body. So I noticed I have to really focus in the winter that I need more foods that have a warming effect on the body rather than a cooling effect on the body. And I noticed that my nutrition breakdown, the 80-10-10 or almost 80-10-10, does not work for me in the winter. So I need a little bit more fat in the winter. I don't know exactly how much fat yet. I need a little bit more fat in the winter for my hormonal balance, since that's regulating the hormones. I need to switch the kinds of fruit I eat, because some fruit I just eat and I shiver. My body gets cold, so can't do that. And yeah, I really don't know yet. So the winter is I don't know yet.
It's so funny how we're such an experiment. Everything's such an experimentation when it comes to this lifestyle, because it's different for everyone. And that's why everybody has a different variation of the raw food diet. No one eats the same. For me, I don't really journal or, break down what I eat. It's more intuitive, just like what I'm feeling. Yeah. I tend to eat more on the higher fat side though.
As a woman, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think as a woman, that's probably the way to go.
Yeah. What about your daily lifestyle habits? Like, what kind of exercise do you do? Mindset habits, meditation, things like that?
That depends on the day, kind of. So I have a morning routine every day. I wake up at 4:30 in the morning. That's my wake up time. Then I have my morning walk that I do. I don't live far from the beach. So first thing I do is I go to the overlook on the beach and I do my little, I don't know if I would call it meditation practice, is the centering into who I am as a human being, reminding me the path that I've walked and the feet that are touching this earth right now and what these feet are, who these feet are, really bringing myself to me in the morning and then preparing myself of this is the life I'm heading towards today. So preparing myself mentally, spiritually for that which is about to come and reviewing with the wisdom that I have so far. How do I want to approach today? And what kind of reminders do I want to lay out for today so I make sure I don't trip and fall? So that's like my morning routine. Then I get, into work and into life. And then I have a similar thing in the afternoon. Again, where I bring myself to myself, connected, feet to the earth, reminding myself who I am and what's to come for the second half of the day. And then I have the similar thing on the end of the day where that's kind of like a recap of who I am. Again, always bringing myself, who I am, how my eyes see, how my ears hear, how my nose smells, my lips talk, all that kind of stuff. And then, at night, kind of not reviewing, but internalizing the things that I want to internalize that have become me. So when I go into, transitioning into theta while I fall asleep, to really make sure that at the end of the day, I'm going away from this consciousness into that state intentionally.
I love I love that everything you do is like to break out of, the matrix and to, continuously, we really do have to continuously remind ourselves who we are, why we're here, just to stay awake, because even throughout the day, there's just little situations that happen that pull us out of consciousness.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
I mean, this world is not designed for, I don't want to call it consciousness because consciousness is everywhere. It's not designed for that life which I'm seeking and which many of us are seeking. And I don't want to say it's by design or it's like conspiracy or evil or whatever, not even putting a judgment on it, but that which I observe, it's designed for a different life than what I seek. So that's why I developed my path in a way to where I still want to be with everyone. I don't want to be reclusive, go live in a cave and just be by myself. So I had to find a way of how can I keep being me, seeing the life I see, but yet still function in this thing that constantly just wants to pull me out of that.
That's very powerful. A lot of people get this idea that they want to go like live the monk lifestyle and go live off in, the jungle or, some island somewhere. But we're meant to be here, right? We're meant to experience this and kind of be in all of it, but can we stay awake through it all? And it's interesting because when you see these monks, just meditating for however many hours of the day in the middle of nowhere, living on barely any food, they don't, maybe they are enlightened, but they don't have bills, they don't have a job, they don't have children, they don't have the stresses of traffic, all of this stuff. So it's like if you, put them in this situation, like would they be able to hold that consciousness? Would they be able to stay in that state? And the fact that there's so many people like you and I who are living in this, like we're in the heart of LA. This is the epicenter of the matrix, I feel sometimes, especially during COVID. It was just a mess, right? With tanks going down the street. And, so the fact that we are here and we are holding our light and raising our vibration in the middle of chaos is so inspiring. Like we're the lights. And they're so, compared to the rest of the population, there's very few people who are very, very dedicated to their spiritual path. So it's a very admirable quality to have.
I wouldn't want to live any other way. I sometimes wonder why everybody else is, or not everybody, why most people are not wanting this. And then I have this empathy thing of like, if I could just tear out a little chunk and pass it to you so you can feel this, I don't think anybody would ever want to go back. And to what you've been speaking, I went the monk mode, that disappear and do that thing. And it served its purpose. I don't remember who said this. I am so bad at remembering who said what, but somebody one day said, it's easy to be at peace sitting in a cave. And he was absolutely right. To what you speak, no bills, no kids, no traffic, no this, no that. Yeah, it's easy. You go into paradise and it's like, oh, I feel great. Of course, you're in paradise. I mean, it doesn't get much easier than that. But what I learned there was, you see, I've traveled the world by myself and I've had the most extraordinary experiences, mostly by myself. And then one day I realized it's not that it's worthless because it made me the man I am and I would not want to miss any of those. But the most beautiful moments of life were the ones when you were there, when there was actually another soul or many souls to share it with. Because without that, what do any of my memories or my understanding, my wisdom, my past, whatever it is, what does that matter if you're not here? And that's the reason why I still choose to be here, because my family lives in Los Angeles. And I feel as if, I believe in the, what do we call it? God, spirit, universe. I don't even know what word to use there, but in the full symbiosis of it. And I know I'm using the wrong word here because somebody's going to argue about the word symbiosis and I'm not using the correct word, but just semantics here. But in the perfection of the, let's call it design. And I wonder, how could one of the only mistakes be of it having birthed me into this community, this family, while I'm meant to leave and be somewhere else. And that's where I really understood I play a role in the community I was born in my family, in my extended family. And there is a purpose for me being there. I might not know that. I might not exactly know what the role is, but going away from that and seeking the cave, seeking the easy way or the paradise, whatever it is, which my ego thinks is somewhere else, would be like looking spirit into the face and being like, I know better than you.
Or you do this on your own, huh?
Yeah, exactly. One of the two.
I give up.
And since I'm not the man to give up, it would really be like, oh, I know better than you. And it kind of put me in my place to be like, do I really want to be the knight at your round table? Do I truly want to serve you as the man that I am? And if so, then I have to serve you in your creation. Again, I'm just using words. Please don't get stuck on those words because they're just words.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel that you're changing your diet to a raw, high vibrational, living, full of life force diet has affected or altered your spirituality?
So I want to give a yes and no to that one. Everything is quite conditional. In the summer months, in the 3 months where I had a 3-month stretch of where I was fully raw, no exceptions, no cheat days, no even cheat moments, I realized where everything got extremely amplified. So it made a 10 to a 200. It was just amazing. However, I see it the other way around. I didn't come to raw to have a better spiritual life or a better physical life. Actually, the journey that brought me here, even though I think in my egoic mind that it started because I had to try all the diets, but if I really look at it, it is my spiritual existence that led me to raw. Because the more I give into life, the more I give myself to spirit, the more I give into the dance of that, the answers are led by that. And when that leads to the answers, the outcome is, it leads itself. And it makes sense that going towards, and again, at this point, I can't say fully raw is the answer there because I'm too new to this in this journey, but it's really about looking at in the dance within the spirit, if I am within that symbiosis of life, being that which I am, free from the distraction of that outside and the industry that we've built around that makes me think life is something that it's not really, because it's been existing for like 200, 300, 400 years. I don't know, right? So what if I was before then, and the dance with spirit and my community, how would we have lived and how would we have survived? And the more I think about it, it's like you're running around, there's my dog running around, a pig running around, a horse running around, and I'm really hungry and I'm fast and I got maybe my tools and we already maybe have fire and all that stuff. But then there's an apple tree. And I'm like, well, what is it going to be? Well, it's going to be that apple tree. Because what else would it be? And then there is maybe this or that or that. Now comes the question, would there ever be a need for anything beyond that? That's something I can't answer because I'm not conscious of the time when I lived in that time. But for my understanding of spirit and life right now, yeah, raw makes absolute sense. And even internally and in the mind and in the soul, the way I feel, the moments when I really adhere to raw, because right now I wouldn't consider myself fully raw because the winter just messed me up really bad. It felt like it was the right answer. And I think really that brings me to the thing that we should get rid of this label of raw. Mm-hmm. When I went to the meetup, everything was about raw vegan this, vegan that, and raw this. And I really hated that. First of all, I really dislike the word vegan. It's such a bad connotation I had a friend 20 years ago and he just ruined it all for me.
I actually feel the same way. And I changed the group to raw food meetup.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah. I had some incidences, and it just kind of made me go in a different direction. And that's kind of why now I'm trying to unite raw foodists, raw vegans, and fruitarians, regardless of differences or the way people are choose to live their life. And, taking the labels out and not judging people, whether they're 100% raw or high raw. The point is that we all have a love for raw food, and we all have the end goal of health and well-being and just compassion and love, and there doesn't need to be debates or arguments about what we eat or not eat. So, yeah.
See, yes to all of that. And even beyond that, I do a lot of pondering. I go out in nature and I'm like, oh, let me just take some time to ponder about life. And ever since being this, because I'm always reflected with everybody I talk to, they're like, oh, you're not eating this, you're not eating this. So I'm reflecting about labels a lot because I'm labeled a lot. But I think we need to get rid of the whole box of any sort of labels, because I'd rather talk about the thing behind it that brought us to this moment. May we be fruitarian, raw vegan, or this or that, whatever we are, I'd rather like to circulate in society and the world the thing that came before that, the thing in our hearts underneath that, in our soul, so that we can actually take the journey to the answer that lies in the future, because none of us know. I think anybody that would be sitting there and be like, oh, fruitarianism is the answer for life, or raw is the answer for life, it's just stuck in your ego. You have no idea. With your limited mind of your incarnation, of your manifestation of this physical existence in 2024, if you think you have it all figured out, I would question that.
100%. Yeah.
So I rather think, let's take the box away of all these labels and say, well, what's the thing in our hearts, in our soul, the thing behind it that made us look into that direction? And let's rather unite on that basis, not on the raw food, not on the fruit, not on any of that, but the thing behind it. Because when we unite on that thing instead, now we're looking into a direction. We're sailing our ships into a direction, and we can actually use the wind in our sail to continue sailing and actually let spirit guide us to the answer in the future, rather than closing us off in this box of raw food. And really, I think it alienates too many people. Like, we draw so many boxes with these labels, but if we would open that and be like, hey, I don't care about that. I mean, I do, but I don't care about that. But here's the heart I'm coming from. I think I can touch more people that way, and we can unite more people that way. People that really hear about raw food and vegan, they're like, I don't want to have anything to do with that because of that box, would maybe now be like, hey, looking in that direction makes sense, and let's see what we find when we sail that way. Because our box, I know it would close me
I don't have
off.
a box.
Good.
I don't have a box. And when I go, I encourage people not to have a box. And I feel like there's no exclusion, no, everyone's welcome. So there have been times where I've seen some raw vegans bashing other raw vegans on YouTube and whatnot. And, that to me is what I'm trying to get away from, and the peace and unity that I'm trying to bring to the raw food community. So I totally agree with you. Yeah. 100%. So tell me, what is the big vision for you? Like, what is your big vision? What are you searching for?
You don't have easy questions, huh?
You're not an easy guy.
What am I searching for?
What are you searching for?
I'm always afraid to use the wrong words, but the word that comes to my mind now is nothing. At some point in time, and this was early in my life, even looking way back before I even knew this is who I was, I can reflect back and be like, you were exactly that. You just didn't know that yet. I was found. It wasn't that I was searching for. I was found, and I was introduced to this dance with life, with the universe, with the spirit, whatever you want to call it. And I didn't even know, but I felt it here. And I sailed my ship my whole life based on this feeling. And that's really what my life always was about and still is. Keep finding myself on that ship, within that dance, sailing. And really that's all I want out of life, is that dance, sailing on that ship. Which of course, it doesn't mean I don't have, worldly things. I'd love to have a family one day, have some kids, have a wife and stuff, that in whatever form, I'm not necessarily talking about marriage, could be whatever, right? In whatever form that might look, I like to make money and go places and travel and all that stuff. I have a business that I'm putting together. I'd like to change the world. I'd like to help people. All those material things do exist. But in the question of what the vision is, none of that matter. As long as I am within the dance of that spirit.
Yes.
I think I'm there. Mm-hmm. And really, so
it's really about being in the flow and creating with spirit, right?
Yeah.
Like allowing spirit to come through you. Like you might have a family, but as long as you're present and you are connected to the divine, it's like you are experiencing that, or God is experiencing that through your eyes, because you're awake and you're present and your heart is open.
I mean, that's what I'm here for, right? I have nothing to achieve. None of us have anything to achieve. We're just playing this whole game for, maybe because we're bored, I don't know. Because in the end, I mean, it all depends on what you believe in, but the way I have experienced what life is, my answer to what is life, it's this gift that we've been given, that has been held up through the conscious energy of all our loved ones that have passed. So they're holding the dimension with energy and their consciousness, allowing us to dance this dance today. It's as if it was a gift and they're saying, Jamie, you get a lifetime to dance. And Sevada, you get a lifetime to dance. And I'm using dance as a metaphor, like whatever word works for you, that's fine. And if we've been given that gift, what is there to achieve other than be there fully for the dance? So a successful life to me, a life good lived is, am I there for the dance or not? No matter what it be, may it be meeting with friends, playing tennis, driving a car, building a business, whatever you're doing, it doesn't even matter. But are you there for the dance? Mm. And that's what I want. I want to be there for the dance. Whatever the dance brings, right? Today it brought me you, and I just met you a couple of weeks ago or months ago. I don't even know when it was, right? And I couldn't have planned that. If you were to ask me 2 years ago, if I would have planned for this, you and I would have not be sitting here right now. Because I am the captain of my ship, but I don't control the wind. I don't control the ocean, nor did I build the land. So it's, yeah. I hope that answers the question.
That was great. I love that. That was really great. So tell me a little bit about your coaching. Like, how is it that
one thing just came in mind.
Okay.
When I'm 80 or 85 or 90, may it be 150, please let me live as long as I can, right? My goal in life is to look back, lean back and be like, this was a fantastic ride. I think if I have a goal, then it's that moment to just lean back and be like, kids, this was a good life.
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like that's the direction we're heading. I mean, we feel it. You feel it, right? You feel it in your heart. You wouldn't, that thought would not even come into your mind if you weren't connecting to it.
I am so blessed to feel the things I feel. Absolutely, yes. That thought wouldn't come if I wouldn't feel the things that I feel on a daily basis, the things I get to experience.
It's like our purpose, right? We wouldn't have the idea for something great, this beautiful vision, if it wasn't meant for us to create it. Because not everybody's going to have the same vision. But when an idea comes to you, it was given to you.
That reminds me of something. I keep recording my thoughts like on a daily basis, like sometimes too many times on a daily basis. So much that I don't know what's what anymore.
You need a book.
Yeah, I'm writing a book.
Oh,
currently,
good. Okay.
So until it comes to a moment where somebody like you said something like right now, and then it the energy gets activated, and I'm like, oh, I remember that moment. And now I forgot.
What did I say? The idea, when it comes to you, it was
yes.
given to you. Yes.
Yes. So one day I was thinking about, it'd be too far to go into what I believe these two dimensions are and how this world is held up. For that, you can actually read my book. But within that, there's a lot of communication that I truly believe is not from me, that I am a vessel for that information. Because some things, like there's a book that I'm not currently writing, but that's ready to be written, and it literally came within like a minute and a half. Like I just jumped on my recorder and the whole book just came, but it wasn't my thought. Now, where it came and all that stuff, I don't even know. And there's a lot of things on a daily basis where I feel not obligated, but it's as if I have the honor to serve this plate of food. This was giving to me the energy line of the dance with the spirit, with the universe was gifted to me. And as something comes in, it's as if I have the honor to serve it to the world. It's not even about achieving anything, but it's truly as if I would leave this place and there was such thing as a God, or I leave into the other dimension and there's my loved ones from the past that are holding that dimension currently, and they're like, we sent you all that stuff. Did you leave it there for them? And I'd be like, wait, what do you mean? I was too lazy to write the book. I was too lazy to, I forgot about this. I was like, no, I really believe they're giving us this dance. And when I pass into that dimension, you see, one day I know myself to have the honor to become this space in between, to hold the consciousness and the energy in the space between everything that is life, to hold it so that other people can dance this dance that I'm currently dancing. And in that moment, I will do the same thing. I will take all that I am and all that I know, and I will send it out to the people that are currently dancing, that are connected to me. And I will give them that wisdom in whatever form they're willing to receive it currently. May it be in a song, in a book, in a poem, in a dance move, whatever it may be. And I will hope that they will also see it as an honor to leave that with the rest of the world to come. And so we perpetuate this world, this gift that we give to each other with those energetic ties of love as we keep giving it to generations passing on. So we receive it from the ones holding the space to us actually being in the space. And then we're leaving it in the space. It's this whole circle. And I believe this is how this whole rotation of the dimensions actually stays alive. And to get back to your earlier question, that's the whole why I do my coaching thing. It's exactly that. It's leaving that behind, which I know, which I experience, which I've been gifted with. And of course, wanting to, like I said earlier, I just want to cut out a little chunk. And I hope you can experience what I've experienced. I could go into talking for hours and hours of all the beautiful things I've experienced in my life. And I would love for other people to experience the same thing. I don't know if other people do or not. There's a lot of interactions I have in life where I feel like they don't. Because the things they focus on, the way they speak, the way they act, the way they see life, I can only conclude that they haven't felt that depth yet. And I feel so privileged and honored. And so I want to take this little chunk and just offer it. Offer it for whoever is able to see it, to hear it, whoever wants to try to pick it up and see how life could feel from that vantage point. And
I completely resonate with that, because I experience the exact same thing that you do, but with family of mine that I know have not experienced what I've experienced. And I just wish that I could show it to them. Like the movie The Giver. Have you seen the book or the movie The Giver?
I have not.
He lays his hands on the boy and he can give him his memories, and it's like he's right there with him. But it hurts to know that some people have not truly tapped into their full potential and they're not living their best life and they're not fully embracing the world for all that it is. And that's wonderful that you coach people and you help bring them to the light and you help to wake them up and bring them into consciousness and to offer your presence and your heart, because even without speaking, that energy is powerful enough to have an effect on them.
Yes, yes, and yes. But there's some words you added there that I wouldn't use. I'm not here to wake anyone up. Not here to take anyone into the light. Not here to do any of that stuff. I want to help with whatever it is they are. Whatever that means to them in the moment. If somebody comes to me asking me to teach them how to be a carnivore, I will support them. Whatever you currently see, I want to be your support. And within that, I hope that you can find yourself within the energy of the reflection that I want to be. So my reflection of my light can, I don't even know what word to use, can touch you, can touch your heart, your soul. And only if it does touch your heart and your soul. And that's really the people I'm truly seeking for in the work that I do, is the ones that either seen my work online or read some of my work or come into my presence or heard of me, whatever. They're like, that which you are, let's call it your light for the lack of a better word, touches me deeply and has made me experience something that I'm longing for now. And that, it'd be an honor to hold the space
I think
guide someone there.
A word we could use is authenticity.
Yeah, I like that word. You see, we're all here for the dance, right? It's the same thing why I don't like the box of raw, vegan, raw, whatever, right? Fruitarianism, whatever it is. I don't know what is best or what's right or what is the light or what is awakened. I don't know any of those things. Excuse me. I just know the beauty that I can feel and see. And that's the only thing I want to do, is help you to get to the point where you can see beauty and feel beauty, whatever that means to you. It might not be the same thing to me. So it's really all of us sitting on our ship, being the captain, learning how to put the sail so the wind catches it. And I'm on my way to a tropical island, but some people really like the snow. And some people like this or that. And some people maybe want to live in the water. And I don't know what's right. I may think from that which I've experienced that life is on the tropical island and that is the light, the awakened state, whatever it is. But it would be, and there was a time when I was talking that way, but it would be a disgrace to that which is life and that which is spirit to claim that I know and wanting to guide people to that which my ego thinks it has figured out in this limited manifestation of which I am. And I really want to just give them the chance to have the dance with spirit. Because if I can get you there, we're good. It's just like the food. If we look at it from that vantage point, spirit, life will take care of the rest. I am not needed anymore. Mm-hmm. So I want to invite you into a dance. And of course, first the invitation is so that you know that this dance exists. Because most people don't. Most people are oblivious to the fact that this dance exists. They have heard of God or the universe and of these books and stuff, but they've never felt it. They've never actually experienced the dance. And that's really what I want to do, or that's what I'm all about, the dance.
It's an interesting perspective. Everybody has such a unique perspective, I see the world through my eyes. You see the world through your eyes. You see the world through your experiences and your relationship with the divine. And then I do the same and everybody else. It's fascinating.
And that's, I think you're talking about exactly what I'm talking about. How could I take someone in a coaching session or in a conversation or anything and say, that's where we're going? Because that would completely leave out your experience and your wisdom. And then we're 8 billion people on this planet. I'm not even talking about the souls that have passed and are holding other places of dimensions. And I'm not even talking about whatever spirit is, which I have no answer for, right? Only in the culmination of all of that combined will there be truth. So I can't offer anyone truth. But what I can do is invite somebody to dance.
And how do you do that?
That depends on where you currently are and what you're doing and who you are, at what state of consciousness you are. For most people, it's just an act of paying attention. You woke up today. Did you pay attention to that? Did you pay attention to your foot, to your leg, to your knee, to your arm, to your... I mean, everybody hears their thoughts, right? So I don't even go there in the beginning. I'm like, did you actually pay attention to life? Did you go to, let's say, actually to a dance or a party or a mixer or whatever? But did you actually pay attention? Were you talking to someone and did you actually pay attention to them? The thing you say, you see life through your eyes and your experiences. Well, am I paying attention to that? Am I here for that? Or am I just here to regurgitate my ego onto you and be like, I already, like totally blocked off in the illusion of that which we've built out there. So many of us suffer the illusion, right? It's such a strong illusion. There's the industry we have built is so good at having created this hamster wheel for us. And we're just going and going and going. We're just, the cage is open. Like literally it is open, but we're just on this wheel and going and going. So I think the start is just stop for a second. And then it could be a whole lot of things. I would say some people, let's explore the wheel you're running first. And then maybe get off the wheel and explore everything else. Some people don't need that. Some people will sit in a certain kind of trauma where I'm like, first thing we need to do is let's get out of this cage and explore outside of it. So many things. But I think awareness is really the encompassing answer. Paying attention, being aware, and actually caring. Opening ourselves up to actually experiencing, which is a part of caring in a chemical, emotional, physical, energetical way, to be open to experience other than what I have for myself.
And how would you bring someone into awareness? Like what, you can tell someone, are you present? Are you focusing? Are you paying attention? How do you get them to that point?
A lot of the people I've worked with see, the whole reason why I started this, it kind of already happened in life. I wasn't even trying for this, but in life this happened, and it is with me. I bring a certain energy and presence that will, when given into, if you give yourself to me, I will give myself to you, and you will feel it. You will walk away having felt something. You'll be in the moment having felt something. So in the conversation is one point. And the other one is just simple exercises, right? There's so many simple exercises I can tell you to do that you could find awareness. The simplest one is, I call it the door frame practice. Every time you walk through a door, you're going to do this practice before you walk through the door, right? It's, who am I? Where did I just come from? And where am I walking to? And we could change the question depending on who I'm working with. Might reframe the questions, right? But you go do that for a week in your life. See what changes.
I have one that's interesting. It's to pretend like you were just transported into your body from another planet, another place, wherever, and you don't know anything about yourself.
I like that.
Like you really have to look around and pay attention to detail, right?
I love that. That's great.
That's a great one, yeah.
Another one that's coming to my mind is Take a week out of your life. And this is one of the hardest, this is like an advanced exercise. Take a week in your life, and roughly every 30 seconds, or everything that you do, ask yourself, what would a person that loves themselves do? And it's a pretty advanced practice because you'll hit some things in your life where you're like, wow, this can get very dark very quick. But it's these little things. It's really, I think part of it is an energy exchange where we come together and we hold a certain kind of energy. And it's not just it can be in conversation, right? I can take you there. And when I say I can take you there, you can also take me there, and anybody in the world, right? Through a song I can play on my guitar, on my piano, whatever it is. I could take you there with a book that I'm writing. The conversation, we could actually go to dance. So I dance a lot, like literally dancing, not just the metaphorical dancing I'm talking about. And even there, we find the same thing. Mm-hmm. So in everything we do in life, even if we go shopping, if you and I go shopping, we will find that opportunity there. And we're kind of gifting it to each other. And it's nothing really anybody needs to do. I think if you're in my presence, you will have access to everything I am and everything I know. And all of it is yours for the taking. Nothing held back. It's all yours. And I think there's many people like me roaming this earth. And sometimes it's much, much easier than what is told for us. Oh, we have to awaken. We have to do this. We have to find the light. Sometimes we just have to be with each other and just receive from each other that which everyone has. And we can become complete without really doing much. Mm-hmm. And maybe complete is a little too much. There's always work involved. So no, we can't become complete without doing much because there's always work involved. But there's a lot of things that...
For me, I'm all... Sorry.
Yeah, no, please, go ahead.
Well, have you read the book by Michael Singer, The Untethered Soul?
Yes, I have.
Yeah. I love living my life like that, where in every moment, right. Well, one, you're present in every moment, or you try to be. And when emotions stir up, trying not to get lost in them, trying not to let the mind get involved. And as we have disturbance or triggers or feelings or past traumas or whatever it is that's starting to stir up inside of our energy field, just to sit back and relax and just allow the energy to flow through us. And I do feel a lot lighter, when I practice that way. Because underneath we are light. We don't have to try to be light. We just have to let go of the things that are weighing us down.
See, you touch on something really important. You're talking about allowing that which is, mm-hmm. and just being with it. It reminds me of something that I share with people when they're open to it. We have this thing about the mind nowadays. There's this construct about the mind that I don't agree with, because not everybody, a lot of people are going off this frame of wanting to silence the mind, as if the mind was a bad thing. Again, we're going back to the same thing I talked about earlier, like this perfect symbiosis. And what do you think? The creator or spirit or whatever it is, the only mistake it did was your mind? It's like, well, if you really think about it and you give yourself to it, the mind was no mistake. It plays a vital role. It is a dance with yourself. It's pretty much the translation box between you and all that is energy. So it's really just having a conversation about that which is perceives from all, may it be chemically, may it be biologically, may it be energetically. And it's just a translation box. Now, of course, if you don't pay attention to it, if you don't take that which comes in and actually do what is necessary, it's going to get louder and louder and more violent because it cares about you. Mm-hmm. It is actually in perfect symbiosis, like a loving mother to you. Mm-hmm. Everything that it experiences, it wants to say, Jamie, here, you need to know this. And really all it knows, see, the language of the mind, it has intricate forms where it can speak to you, but we're so disconnected nowadays that we don't know the language of the mind. So really all it can do, it's referencing your memories. And then it's pulling from your memories, trying to put together a story to try to convey to you that which it wants to say to you. Because while it was still talking in its actual language, most of us are too distracted or don't even know that language to listen. And when it gets more important, like the mother's like, I tried to hint, I'm hinting. He's not getting it, not getting it. Okay, let's take this traumatic and like on that memory, let me try to piece together a story that this person will understand. Because when I'm talking in my native language as the mind, which is more of a subtle energetic thing, he or she might not be getting it. And that's how the mind convolutes itself into something that we perceive as a bad thing. But the bad thing is only because you've been punched for so many times by the mind because you just weren't getting what it's trying to portray to you. And it's a real important function, I think. So if we just get closer to the relationship to mind and the language that it's speaking, I actually think it's such a beautiful thing. So what you said about really being with it and allowing it and being present for it and letting it go through you, that's so powerful. And I'm sure you've noticed the more often you do that, the quieter it gets, the less it has to say, because you'll just end up, of course, if you take what it gives you and process it and adjust your life and your existence to that which was necessary. Anyway, sorry, long tangent about that.
That was great. That's great. Yeah. Is there anything else that you wanted to add in?
I would like to, let's round back to what we started with, food.
Okay.
Since I'm assuming a lot of your listeners are very curious about that, since a lot of things that you do are revolved around that. And
I don't post that much about food.
Oh,
actually.
Interesting. I thought you would, being, who you are or how I've experienced you today.
I look at my diet as just the baseline to get me to the next level. It's not really something I revolve my life around.
I love that.
Yeah, it's actually just propelled me into my purpose, which is what I want to inspire other people to do once they become raw. Or if they are raw, or just changing their diet. Because for me, when I changed my diet, my whole life changed.
Didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't that so easy?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And not just the diet, but that's kind of why I was fishing back for it too. The diet, exercise, and sleep. And it's like, what happened? Like, really, was certain things that easy? For me, when I got those things not figured, I don't have them figured out. I'm so far away from having it figured out. But when I got closer to my truth on those things, so many issues that I had in life just disappeared. So many mental issues that I had just disappeared. I think I shared with you in text before this meeting that I used to have what I would call addiction issues, right? I used to smoke cigarettes for 20 years. I smoked weed for that long a time. Tried all bunch of drugs in between, and not just for a day. And when I say I smoked cigarettes, not just one or two, like I smoked. And whatever I did, like I did. I had this thing, this hole in me that I just tried to fill with anything I could get my hands on. So I don't have to feel. See, everything you've been hearing me talk about today, this dance, this experience of spirit. When I was young as an 8-year-old, I used to talk about these things. And family and people used to tell me that this is weird. It's kind of crazy. It's not normal. Like, oh, you'll grow up one day and you'll see what real life is, right? And I started believing them. So as I became a little older, with about 13, 14, I started, taking substances because I had to silence that which I felt. Because it was as if I'm standing in a room of 1,000 people and I'm the only one saying, I'm raising this flag. And everybody's like, that flag? No, you're silly. You're crazy. This is not real. You're crazy. So I started using that to mask this hole, to just fill it up and get it away. And I did it for so long. Well, I developed traumas and dependencies. And I tried to quit so many times. It's so many, so many stories I could tell about that. But when I really learned how to solve that. And that's actually what I also do a lot in my coaching is like, let's not solve the problem that you think needs to be solving. Let's make your body stronger, your mind stronger, and your spirit stronger. And let's see if that problem still exists. And that's also what I do a lot with my coaching clients is once we strengthen everything around it, most of the problems vanish. And that's how my addiction was. That's how I got introduced with food. I'm like, well, what happens if I eat better? And I started eating better. And I noticed that my addiction pattern was different. Then I started exercising as well. And I noticed differences. And eventually I was smoking cigarettes and I'm like, this kind of tastes shitty. This doesn't taste good anymore. I'm not enjoying this anymore. And I would wake up in the morning and first thing I would do is grab for a cigarette because that's what I've done for 20 years. And that's not it anymore. And what has really changed is I cleaned the body. And when I cleaned the body was actually responding to that which is right for the body. Compared to what it was is like I woke up in the morning, let me buy a big can of energy drink, and then let me eat some chocolate and this and that. And of course, the body be craving for all kinds of stuff. So it really is clearing the fundamentals, I think, and which diet is a huge part of that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
As your body starts to heal, you want those things less and less.
Yes. Whereas I have to say, this is what was crazy. In my summer experience of being raw, my neighbor brought some really fancy chocolate because he didn't know what I was doing. So he would try to be nice. He brought me some chocolate and I'm like, I wanted to be nice. Oh, thank you very much. Very nice. I won't eat it now. I'll eat it later. And I put it on the counter over there. And I've been the type of person, if there's a bag of chips in front of me, it's gone. If there's chocolate in front of me, it's gone. But that thing sat on the counter for months. And I walked by it and I didn't even see it. It's not as if I walked by it and I had to convince myself, oh, I don't do this anymore. It's literally, I became a new me. And that just wasn't in the realm of existence anymore. It wasn't in my consciousness. So it's as if the bag didn't even exist anymore. Now coming to the winter, I started experimenting with, let's call it raw treats. So what I consider by now junk food. Even though it is raw, I consider that to be junk food. And why I consider it to be junk food is because of what I experienced. I saw a lot of mental things show up that weren't there for a long time. I saw physical things show up that weren't there. I currently don't even feel that great as I did on the beginning of the raw journey because I'm so tainted of having taken a stretch of 2 to 3 months and trying to convince myself that I have to come up with culinary ways to come up with healthy chocolate and healthy snacks and raw this and raw that. And really noticing that I was equally just poisoning my body. So just going raw isn't really the answer. Sometimes we can take the fundamentals and we can take them extremely out of proportion and get them completely wrong. Just like I could take exercise and take it completely into the direction that will wreck my body and wreck my metabolism. I could do a whole lot of things that are not good for me. So I guess I just wanted to make sure that we keep a frame of consciousness within the fundamentals, because just sticking to the fundamentals doesn't mean you'll have a better life. There is rhyme and reason to everything. And of course, that's individual for everyone as well.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. This has been really great.
This has been fantastic. I love it.
Yeah, this has been really great. I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Would you like to tell the audience how they can find you or how they can work with you? Maybe if they're looking for your coaching.
Absolutely. I have an Instagram as well as a YouTube. Everything is at Sevada's World, which will just fly into the video at this point in time so you can see how it's spelled. Or you might just see it in the comments underneath, whatever we'll figure out at that point. So it's at Sevada's World, Instagram, YouTube. I'm coming out with a book as well. Please go read my book. Not for my book, but for you, actually. And if anything that you hear or see resonates with you, feel free to get in touch with me. It's not about reach out to me for coaching. It's If you see even the slightest glimpse of the dance that I'm talking about, then I want to know you. I want to live a life where you are part of it. And if there's anything I can offer you on that path, everything that is me and that I have is yours. And if not, then we'll just dance and it'll be a good life. So when we're 85, we can just lean back and be like, that was a good life.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you on the next one.
Bye, everyone.